PlayStation.
The Sony PlayStation is the most successful console lineup in history, with its crown jewel being the PlayStation 2. Standing strong at 160 million units, no other console was able to top the PS2. But did you know that Nintendo indirectly and unintentionally helped create the PlayStation? Well, it's true, and it all starts with the SNES. Back in late 1988, Nintendo made a deal with Sony to create the CD-ROM add-on for the SNES, known as the SNES CD, and the CD games would be released under the Sony Super Disc format. But there was one major problem with this project. Sony at the time was pretty greedy with the hardware. Not only would they retain control over the Super Disc format, as well as the licensing for movies and music being released on said format, but they also required the developers at Nintendo to purchase their very expensive proprietary audio chips. Furthermore, Sony wanted to transform the SNES CD into a hybrid console known as the PlayStation, playing both CDs and SNES cartridges. All of this made Nintendo feel like they were just another tool for Sony's expansion into the electronics industry and by extension, the gaming industry. So in 1993, they ditched Sony, decided to work with Philips, and released 4 CDI games. But we all know how well that went. Meanwhile, Sony was left with their cancelled hybrid console and thought to themselves,
well, we now have a controller and a canceled console that plays CD games. Maybe we can make our own game console that plays CD games. Yeah, that's it. We can make a better game console than Nintendo will ever make. It's pure genius.
And so, the modern PlayStation was born. With a 32-bit processor and support for memory cards, it was much better than it would have been had it just been an add-on for the SNES. Sony also took the SNES controller and improved it. Just replaced the ABXY buttons with the circle, cross, triangle, and square buttons, add 2 more shoulder buttons, include handles on each side for improved comfort when in use, and Bob's your uncle. You can also add 2 analog sticks to the gamepad and 2 vibrators inside the handles to get the iconic DualShock controller, or DualSense if you're using the PlayStation 5. In the end, Nintendo ditching Sony is ironically the best thing that happened to Sony, because during the Gen 5 console war, the first PlayStation destroyed both the Nintendo 64 and the Sega Saturn, with over 102 million units sold. And that, my friends, is how Nintendo accidentally helped create its greatest competitor in the console wars.